So we were discussing that is it good to have political competition, and we discussed that what makes an election democratic. We discussed minimum five conditions here, that these are the conditions which makes, okay, if you like have these things, then that means you have a minimum conditions. Okay, you have this thing, democratic elections. But is it good to have political competition, because we've seen that it also creates a sense of disunity and factionalism in every locality, because one person's blame gaming. People, we blame, one person blames the other person, and then there's sort of disunity and factionalism in every constituency wise, because people are divided, because everybody wants to win their particular seat. And that's even true, that everybody wants to win their. So there comes a question, that is it good to have politics? Then we say, of course, we opted for free competition in election. At it is the best way to select our future leaders. If somebody is not interested to be a good leader, and he just wants to be get selected, and then nothing future happens more. So then it won't be good for us as it is citizens, because they are going to eventually yeah, this thing make policies, and their thought process and everything is going to affect us. And this competition is there in every field, whether you talk about in every career. You see all this competition. You have exams for aim sorry you have exams for whether you want to become a doctor, you want to become an engineer. You have exams to graduate, undergraduate, then like postgraduate exams, to get into that. And everywhere there is uh, this exam competition. Even if you want to clear one move on to the next class, from when you move from 6 to 7 to 8, then every year you have to pass semester you have to pass midterm exams and final year terms. And that is how you know that, okay, you are have minimum these qualities to pass. Okay, so we had done it till here. They want to remain in powers or get power and positions for themselves. They may not wish to serve the people as well, but it is too risky. It depends on their sense of duty. So this sense of duty we are talking about is very important. Sometimes it happens that they just one time they get selected, and then that's it. They won't work for the people, or their desire to serve the people changes to selfish desire. And they just do everything to benefit themselves, and that won't be right either. Besides, even when they wish to serve the people, they may not know what is required to do so, or their ideas may not match what the people really want. How do we deal with this real life situation? Then how do we overcome this? One way is to try and improve the knowledge and character of political leaders. The other and more realistic way is to set up a system where political leaders are rewarded for serving the people and punished for not doing so. So otherwise, we can of course they can improve the knowledge, and character about political leaders. The other ways is that, of course, it is a it is a trial method. We choose them, and we see that, of course, they do not perform well. Just like in examinations, if you don't perform well, you do not clear that exam, you have to again sit for it, right? So similarly for politics also, why not? And this is, so here it is about running the country. It's more even at a broader level, broader scale. Who decides this reward or punishment? The simple answer is the people. So who will decide the punishment? Who's the examiner in the yeah, uh, uh, this thing, when we sit for an exam, we are the people who are taking this exam. The teachers are going to check it. So here, who's going to be the teacher? It is us, it is the people. This is what electoral competition does. Regular electoral competition provides incentives to political parties and leaders. They know that if they raise issues and that people want to be raised, their popularity and chances of victory will increase in the next election. So that's how this whole system is all about. But if they fail to satisfy the voters with their work, they will not be able to win again, and that's how they lose the election. So let's see here. So if a political party is motivated or only by desire to be in power, even if then it will be forced to serve the people. So even if they have this selfish wish behind, just to wish, just to win the election, they know that even if they want to remain in power, they will have to work for the people, because otherwise they are not going to let him win the next election, and then he won't be in power. So it is very important for him to work if he still wants to stay in power. So that's what motivates a political leader. This is a bit like the way market works. Even if a shopkeeper is interested only in his profit, he's forced to give good service to the customers. If he doesn't, the customers will go to the other shop. Similarly, political competition may cause divisions and ugliness. So sometimes it's not necessary that every time competition causes, sometimes that's why we always talk about healthy competition even in your class, as even in your schools. We've seen that we always talk about healthy competition, so everybody benefits out of it. Whoever is taking the exam, they benefit. The students, their knowledge base increases and their critical thinking increases. So it, yes, we do realize, it causes divisions and some ugliness, but it finally helps to force political parties and leaders to serve the people. So the ultimate goal is to serve the people. So there's this thing, okay, मेरे पास योजनाएं हैं, घोषणाएं हैं, वादे हैं. And what he had this thing, this board which says vote do matlab give me the vote. So he says that, oh, you have all this, I have vote, mere paas vote hai. Matlab, okay, you might have yojnas are like the government schemes, ghoshnais are announcements, and vade are like promises. So he's saying, but mere paas vote hai. Okay, so this is, so read the two see here again, you can see a dog who's shown like a dog. Voter is shown like a dog. You know why? Because voter is represented as a dog, because dog, what does it do? It follows you. So similarly is with a minister, yeah, sorry, a political leader. So he has a bag full of promises, and one, this thing is dropping, so this dog is coming after that. So that's what the dog is being tempted by the promises. It shows that. Okay, read the two characters carefully, write the message, each of them on your own words. Have a question in your class in which two of them is a reality in your own in your own locality. Draw a cartoon to depict which electoral do the relationship between voters and political leaders. So what, in out of these two, what is more visible or clearly defines your society? I'll just say in my this thing, this is more there. I haven't seen any people up to now. It's changing, but yeah, before it was like this. The voter used to get tempted by all the promises that the political leader would make to win the election. And these promises can be anything, from providing free electricity to waiving off loans to giving free food to reducing school fees to decreasing petrol prices. Anything, these promises range, they have a range. And then what is our system of elections now? We know that what is elections, why do we need, and what is a good democratic election. And this thing also, is it good to have electoral competition? Now we'll read that how elections happen in our country and what is the method. Okay, Can we say that the Indian elections are democratic? To answer this question, let's take a look at how elections are held in India. Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha assembly elections are held regularly after 5 years. So this time interval of our elections is 5 years. After 5 years, the term of all elected representative comes to an end. The Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha stands dissolved. So they stall dissolve. Matlab after the time this time period is here, they no more are in power. Elections are held in all the constituencies at the same time, either on the same day or within a few days. This is called general elections. This is called the general election. Sometimes election is held only in one constituency fix to fill the vacancy caused by the death or resignation of a member. So sometimes elections might also only take in one play in one constituencies, while the other constituencies they don't have elections, because maybe the political leader of that constituency who was elected, he might have died or he might have given the resignation. So this is called by election. So this is what election by election means. In this chapter we will focus on general election. So you know that what is by election, right? I don't both the meanings what I meant. Electoral constituencies, we've already discussed what a constituency in itself means, but again, you've read about the people of Haryana electing 90 people. We remember that out of the 90 seats, 76 seats of the 1991 elections went to um Akali Dal, whereas only 5 seats out of the 96 seats went to Congress. So I think they've given the example of that only. You may have wondered how they did that. So let's see. Okay, did every person in Haryana vote for all the 90 MLAs? You think that okay, that all did like every person in Haryana vote for all the? That's not how it's done. You perhaps know that this is not the case. In our country, we follow an area based system of representatives. So, what do we follow? This is actually very important. You can tell it in the easiest way that we follow an area based system of representation. The country is divided into different areas for purpose of elections. We already discussed how that how it's done. Okay, so this thing we already discussed even in a four this thing that uh, if this is one yeah, sorry, if this is one area or one this thing state, then 1 2 3 4 5, these are the constituencies, how it's divided. Okay, we'll read more properly about it here. So this is, I'm just giving you a basic example, when we are talking about divided into different areas for purpose of election. These areas are called electoral constituency, and these are the areas which are divided into smaller parts. It is called constituency. The voters who live in an area elect, and whoever lives in whichever area they elect for their people. Oh, sorry. For Lok Sabha elections, the country is divided into 543 constituencies. When it comes to the Lok Sabha, there they are divided. Into 543 constituencies. The representatives elected from each constituency is called a member of parliament or MP, and whoever is selected, they are called MP, that is called member of parliament. One of the features of the democratic election is that every vote should have equal value. As we've already discussed, that if I am one person is voting, that should mean that one is equal to one only. It shouldn't be one is equal to four. Like we told that if there are five people, Mr. A, B, C, D, then if A votes, then that is equal to one vote only, and not that if B votes, his one vote will be equal to five. That is wrong. One vote, one value. Matlab all the people who are voting, their vote stands equal to one. That is why our constitution requires that each constituency should have roughly equal population living in it, and that's the reason that how constituencies are divided. If 1 lakh people are living in this constituency around 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. And that is how constituencies are divided. Because it won't be fair, if this thing, uh, 50 people are living in one constituency, and 1,000 are living in other constituency. It is not like that. Almost an equal population number is in every there. That is why constitution requires that each constituency should have a roughly equal population living within it. Similarly, each state is divided into specific number of assembly constituencies. So when we talk for Lok Sabha, that is for the parliament. We've discussed what is parliament and everything in the previous classes, and we've also discussed the state elections and state issues. So for that, we talk about assembly as constituencies. Okay, in this case, the elected representative is called an um, member of member of legislative assembly, or this thing, or an MLA. So let me just make this thing. Okay, this is for, never say union, sorry, never say central government. It is always union government. The right way to say is union government, because union government, it is, people say center government also, but the correct way is to say union, because it represents the unity of our country, or say all the states. And here is a state, so it's always better to say union government. When you becomes a little more older, and when you become bigger, when you come for your graduation and everything, you realize, and when you become the real citizens of our country, above the age of 18 years, then you'll realize the importance of small terms, small things, how it changes the meaning of everything. Even when your board exams comes, you'll know. Okay, but yeah, some things are there we say it for, because like chalta hai karke we say it, but the correct way is to say union government, or not, and not center government or central government. State ke liye we use MLA. Okay, and for union government, we say member of parliament, where there are two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and of course the president of a country. Each parliamentary constituency has within it several assembly constituencies, and the same principle applies for panchayat and municipal. We've discussed in detail, about gram sabha, panchayat, and everything. Okay, so that's the same thing for there. Each village or town is divided into several wards. That are like constituencies. Each ward elects one member of the village or the urban local body. Sometimes these constituencies are counted as seats. Sometimes we also say that acha us seat se kaun jeeta, us seat se in the elections. Okay, next time whenever the elections we have, mm, I think now the next elections we have are in 2020, sorry, 2022. Okay, so remember all these terms. Okay, we'll be people will be discussing about rallies, about good politics, bad politics. They'll be talking about constituencies, and they might even say, okay, wali seat kisko mili, who got that seat, or who won that seat. So remember all these terms. Okay, it's almost this thing, uh, uh 21. So next year we have elections, general elections. So keep it on all in mind, and uh, link it with all those. Each ward elects one member of the village or the urban local body. Sometimes these constituencies are counted as seats. For each constituency represents one seat in the assembly. And when we say the Lok Dal won 60 seats in Haryana, it means that the candidates of Lok Dal won 60 60 assembly constituencies. Okay, that's what we mean by when we say seat. It's just a easier way to say seat, but the correct word is, of course, assembly constituencies in the state, and thus the Lok Dal had 960 MLAs in the state assemblies, and that's how it works. Okay. Next, we can see two. You can see two this thing maps. This is Gulbarg Lok Sabha constituencies. Here's a district border. मतलब after this thing, there's a new district after a district bordering. Borders boundary of assembly constituency, and this black, this is one constituency, this is one constituency, this is one, this is one, this is one, this is one. How many were there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 10 are there. Area within district but outside Lok Sabha constituencies. So these are the areas within the within. So this is one district, okay, we are talking about. This is the area within a district, but it is outside the Lok Sabha constituency, okay. Gulbarg Lok Sabha constituency, and this is Gulbarg Lok Sabha constituencies, 1 2 and everything. You get it? So let me explain it to you again. This is the map of Karnataka, okay? This is the map of Karnataka. This is all these, you can see these. First, don't look at here. Don't get confused. Don't look here. First, I'll tell you this, okay? I'll explain it in a simpler language. These all black lines, na, these boundaries, okay, here, they are the districts of Karnataka. So there are how many districts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Around 28 districts. I haven't counted it correctly because, but around 28. And 28 districts are there in Karnataka, and Gulbarg, this shaded, this one. Gulbarg is one district. Now, this Gulbarg district has been highlighted here and they are showing it here. Okay, so this is a district boundary of Gulbarg, because then here some other district, sorry, then here some other district is there. This is all part of Karnataka only, but after here there is another district. After here, this district is there, and after here, here this portion that's showing, there's this another here, this is another state, okay. And here after, near here, this portion, okay, there's this, after that this portion is there, this one, after here this is there, this, sorry, this, here is here this is whole here. So I'll understand, this is the district boundary. After here comes here, and here saying boundaries of assembly constituencies. Now I've told you that first there's, for the general election, that is the entire country, okay. And there's like state, like for Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala, these are different states. For them, we have for the member of legislative assemblies. And whereas for being a member of parliament, here, yeah, we've written here member of parliament, we have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So when we talk about this district of Gulbarg district of Karnataka, then how many assemblies are there in this thing, boundaries of assembly constituencies are there. When I talk about assembly constituencies, we say that it is for the state election, state election for like Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala. So here it is 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, okay. But this is also part of Gulbarg district only, but this is outside the Lok Sabha constituencies. This whole area which is in yellow, it is one constituency under Lok Sabha. When we talk about state election, then these are 8 constituencies, but when we talk about Lok Sabha, then these are this is one constituency only, okay. We talking about this portion, this yellow, this one is all here. So you can see that in assembly elections we have even so small constituencies according to the population and everything. Even our land is and Yadgir are part of the same district of Karnataka, but if when we divide them into constituencies, then uh, for the state assembly, for being the member of legislative assemblies, these are the eight, you know, constituencies. And when it comes for Lok Sabha election, then it is all clubbed into one, becoming one constituency, because we had discussed na ki it is according to population size and everything. Why is the boundary of the Gulbarg Lok Sabha constituency um, not same as the district boundary of Gulbarg? Okay, draw a similar map on your own, because we've already spoken na ki population wise it is then they're divided. Yes, this is the district map, district boundary of Gulbarg district, but when it comes to um the Lok Sabha, it is only this much. And when it comes to the state assembly, then the constituencies are divided, further divided. So, you know, so you can see how small portions are there for that. How many assembly constituencies are there in the Gulbarg Lok Sabha constituencies? Eight. We've already discussed. How many assembly constituencies are there in the Gulbarg? They are, you can write eight, because we've told na that the here जो eight यहाँ पे जो eight ये बनी है, ये तो different constituencies हैं, and for under the state assembly. But when it comes to Lok Sabha, which requires a greater this thing population size, it becomes one. And this Yadgir might be the Lok Sabha constitution under maybe this district. Okay, that happens. That's all. I hope I've not confused you. If you have confusion, please comment down, and I will again try to clear it out. So we are here, reserved constituencies. So we've, you know, we've already talked about how people are in the chapter of discrimination in the previous year's books. Then we've talked about discrimination and what it means. Okay, so this is in context to that, in everything. Reserved constituency. Our constitution entitles every citizen to elect his or her representative and to be elected as representatives. The constitution makers, however, were worried that in an open electoral competition, certain weaker sections may not stand a good chance to get elected to the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies. They may not have the required resources, education, and contacts to contest and win elections against others. So look how beautiful our constitution is. It knows that, you know, even the situation can this arise, and you know, the weaker section, they might not get chance to vote or even contest. um, those who are influential and resourceful may prevent them from winning elections. If that happens, our parliament and assemblies would be deprived of the voices of significant section of a population. That would make our democracy less representative and less democratic. So the makers of a constitution thought of a special system of reserved constituencies for the weaker section. Some constituency are reserved for the people who belong to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. In a scheduled caste reserved constituency, only someone who belongs to scheduled caste can stand for election. Similarly, only those belonging to the scheduled tribe can contest an election from a constituency reserved for scheduled tribe. Currently, in the Lok Sabha, 84 seats are reserved for scheduled caste and 47 are reserved for this thing. Um, Scheduled tribe. So this is for in the year 2012. So this might have had, you know, sorry, this might have been updated by now, because today it is September 2021. And yeah, you can update, just check and figure and then cross check. This number is in proportion to the share of their population. You know, we are talking about population and their proportion and their population. Thus the reserved seat for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe do not take away the legitimate share of any other social group. And that is why, you know, if it is not like that, if we are giving seat for reserving their seat, then the representation or a share of any other social group is there, will be taken away. That is not how it's done. It's the population and population size and everything is seen for doing it. This system of reservation was extended later to other weaker sections at the district and local level. In many panchayat seats in the rural panchayat and urban municipalities and corporation, local bodies are now reserved for the backward classes as well. So now even there are seats reserved for other backward classes too. However, this proportion of seats reserved varies from state to state. This reservation, of seats, they varies from state to state. If there are 10 reserved in a state of Uttarakhand, then that might not necessarily be that only 10 states are reserved in Uttar Pradesh. It can even be 5, it can even be 20. It depends on the population size, okay, basically what I mean to say. However, the proportion of the seats reserved from state to state. Similarly, one third of the seats are reserved in rural and urban bodies for women candidates. So this is also there, that one third, one third of the seats in rural and urban local bodies, where we talk about wards, okay, and we talk about gram sabha, they are reserved for women candidates, okay.